Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the McGonagall Boxing Podcast. Chisora and Parker is now in the history books. Just want to review it really because it was a good fight without being an instant classic, wasn't it? I was convinced after the whole shenanigans of Chisora over last week that Parker was going to knock him out. I thought Andy Lee, a bit like he's had with Fury, was going to make Parker fight more aggressively, more come forward, less tentative. But what I didn't realise was you can't change a fighter over 6 weeks. The Parker we saw inside the ring on Saturday night was sadly very similar to the one we saw against Junior Farr, and the same fighter we've seen in the last 2 years. Hesitant, tentative, slow starting, and a bit like Dillian White, wasn't it? Came good in the second half of the fight, but you can't do that against the elite. When he fights Joshua, Wilder, Fury, he's going to get put to sleep before he gets going. So, but I don't want to be too harsh because Andy Lee's only had him for 6 weeks. You can't change a fighter in 6 weeks. You need at least 6 months. So, judge him on his second. Third fights with Andy Lee before we get too critical, because I think Andy Lee is a brilliant trainer with a brilliant mind, but Parker needs to be more aggressive. He got caught early, didn't he, with a overhand right. Now some people think it's a slip. I don't. I think Chisora caught him flush, caught him by surprise, shocked, and Parker's got a great chin, but he just didn't see it coming. He's caught cold, like I said, slow starting. But he should have been more aware. He should have been noticed that Chisora starts like a steam train. And Chisora was bossing him, beating him up. And over the first 6 rounds, I had it 5-1 Chisora. But what happened, slowly but surely... sorry, this is a problem with Chisora. He's gassing out. He can't maintain it. But, I liked his weight. I didn't think it was an issue, being 17, nearly 12, 11, 18 stone, because at that weight he's strong and pack a punch. When he loses too much weight, if he goes down to late 16s, early 17s, then his punch resistance goes, as we saw against Dillian White. So he can take a punch, but against Usyk as well, he just tires, doesn't he? Maybe it's age, he's 37 now, but he's slowed down significantly. And he allowed Parker then to boss the fight with his boxing skills. He couldn't close the distance as much, and Parker was picking him off. And he was susceptible as he gets tired. He leans in to the left hand, which White knocked him out with, and Parker buzzed him a few times with. And I thought the 11th and 12th was Parker rounds. And it was like, oh my goodness, they were going to get stopped here. A bit like in round 8 and 9 against Usyk. So that's a big issue. And I think Chisora, unfortunately, lost all of the 6 rounds, the last 6 rounds, which cost him the fight. No question. I had it 7-5 Parker. A lot of other people did. And Parker moves on. But listen, on that performance, Parker's not top 5. On that performance, Del Boy's not top 5. They're both top 10. But you wonder how long can Chisora keep eking out pay-per-view fights when he loses. And on that performance, no one's going to pay to see Parker. He needs 6 months of being on the front foot, being aggressive, taking it to his opponent, rather than on the back foot, tentative, and just doing enough all the time. So, a lot to learn for both fighters. Personally, I'd like to see Chisora fight one more and retire. I think, he's not going to be world champion now. He's not going to be the best of the best anymore. But I'd like to see him have one barnstormer and retire. Against who? I'm not quite sure. Maybe European champion. Maybe Oscar Rivas. Someone who's going to make it entertaining. As for Parker, I know he wants to go down that WBO route, but I don't see him beating Joyce. I don't see him beating Usyk. So for me, he needs to just stay put for the next 2 fights, rebuild, regroup under Andy Lee. Once he's more aggressive, he's still young enough to improve at 29. Next year, when he's improved, hopefully with Andy Lee, then come again and look to push up on the world title challenge. For me, it was a close fight, kind of an ugly fight, fought a lot on the inside, but ultimately Chisora tired. Parker found his rhythm, started to take over. I had it 7-5 Parker. I think a lot of the fans ringside did as well. And he moves on. As for Chisora, one more, then retire in what's been a fantastic career.